Hey, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another glorious video. Today's video will be a little different. I mean, a lot of my videos are a little different, so maybe I should stop saying that. So for today's video, I thought instead of having you all watch me do my makeup, I would show you my collection of eyeshadow palettes that I use on the regular to create those makeup looks. So I have my eyeshadow palettes here and I am ready to share them with the world because I'm sure that you guys are just like laid in bed at night, staying awake, thinking, how many eyeshadow palettes does Nicole have? Which brands does she own? I sure wish I could see those palettes. JK, I know you haven't. I mean, come on. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Do not forget to like if you like the video. If you don't like the video, don't like. But like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I would truly appreciate that. I am slowly progressing and trying to get up to 100 subscribers. That's like my goal by the... I'm not going to say by the end of the year because I feel like that's pushing it, but that's definitely a goal of mine by like February 2020. So please don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet, and comment below if you'd like. I would love to hear about the eyeshadow palettes that you have, any recommendations you have. If you have like a die-hard eyeshadow palette, whether it be drugstore or high-end, I would love to hear about it and maybe test it out because I'm always on the hunt for new makeup, of course, which is expensive and fabulous. So, yeah, let's just get started. So just a little forewarning in this video, if I am bothering you with my sniffing, I promise I don't use cocaine. I have like a thing. I have a thing going on. I don't know if I have like a sinus infection or what is happening, but it's been going on for a while, so I should probably go to a doctor. But I don't want to go to a doctor, but I'm going to have to go to a doctor. Goal for January 2020, go to a doctor. If it's still happening. Hopefully it's not happening. Hopefully it just goes away. I'm like, vitamin C, medicine, fluid, what else do you need to go away? It's not going away. I digress. Anywho, so this is my collection. It's heavy. These are all my eyeshadow palettes. This is where I keep them in this cute little rustic box. I felt like I just sounded like SpongeBob. I have kids, right? So I watch cartoons. But if any of you ever watch SpongeBob, the episode or the whatever it would be called, I don't even know, where SpongeBob first meets Sandy and he goes to her home and he like doesn't want to make her think that he has to have water. And so he's like dried up and he's like, Sandy! I feel like I just sounded like that. Okay, so I am going to take the palettes out one by one and hope that this is not a video that lasts 500,000 hours long. Here we go. So I'm just going to start pulling at random with maybe the biggest ones. That's what she said. So the first palette, and also, by the way, I'm probably not going to swatch a ton of these because that would take 1,000 hours and I'm not trying to do that to you or me or anyone. So I'm just going to mostly show. If I feel like there's a color in one of these that is like bada bing, bada boom, I'll swatch it. But other than that, I'm just going to show you. So if any of you have watched my, the video that I did, my Ulta haul video, my Ulta Bath and Body Works haul, you'll see that I got this little bad boy. And then a video after that, I tested it. I wish I could say that I was super impressed, but I wasn't. I will have both of those videos linked in the description box. You can click on them if you have not yet watched them. I'm going to try to do this without blinding you with a mirror. This is the palette. It comes off as gorgeous, and I was super excited for like this blue shade. and a couple other of the shades. I can't really see, like this magenta. Where are we? This magenta looking shade, and then this like purplish magenta shade. I was excited for those. I wasn't that impressed. Like I said, if you haven't watched the video, please do so you can see what the hell I'm talking about. Don't judge me, some of my palettes are dirty. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, you know. I haven't worn makeup in like, how long has it been since I wore makeup? I don't know, like 5 days. And it's bugging me. And then because of my nose, and like, it itches. Okay, this is a dirty one. Close your eyes if you don't like that. This is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collab that they did. The first one, like the big one. The big one. No mirror, so no worries. And I like this palette. I would say that a few of the shades aren't as pigmented as I'd prefer them to be, and they don't pull the same color. Oh, this palette is hella dirty. Dang, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. Anyway, some of the shades don't pull the exact color as they on my skin as they are in pan, which, you know, happens. I would say mainly these like darker shades I have an issue with. This shade I don't really like. It's supposed to be like forest green-ish, but it's like not very pigmented. The darker shades, like the darker matte shades, I would say I have a little bit of an issue with, but they're not impossible. You just gotta work with them. Okay, so next is, no surprise, if you've watched any of my videos, you know about this palette. I got this in a Boxycharm. This is the Tarte Clay Play palette. I'm trying not to blind you. And I very much, okay, this is not. Hey, anybody want to see in this mirror? This is a beautiful palette. I love this palette. I use this palette often. It does obviously have some like face shades as well. This is a very pigmented palette. So if you have that palette or you're going to get that palette, like, be careful with that palette, because that palette will mess you up if you're not careful. So next I have the Pure Festival palette. This palette I've not used, so maybe that would be a future video. My computer just randomly turned on and I'm like, to heal. This palette is pretty. It still has like the protective layer on it. This palette is pretty. I'm interested in these glitters. They're super chunky looking, so I'm not really sure. Maybe you have to use like a glitter glue or glitter primer for those. But I'm interested. It doesn't like, this palette doesn't exactly speak to me. Like, I'm not like, it's not like, use me. When I got it out of the pack, I got it from Boxycharm, right? I pulled it out and it wasn't like, use me. You need to use me. I feel like that's the voice of this palette. Use me. Anyways, I should try that palette out. Looks kind of cool. We'll see about all of that. Okay, next we have the original BH Cosmetics and Carly Bybel palette. This is a struggle with the mirrors, honestly. This is a super lovely neutral palette. This is like everyday look. I love how you can't see my mouth. Like for most of these, I'm holding these up and you cannot see my mouth. Maybe I should hold them like this and just zoom in. That seems like a more professional YouTuber thing to do. But I'm not a professional YouTuber, so it's all good. Anyways, this palette is lovely. I don't get a ton of use out of it anymore. I did use it a lot in the beginning. I should use this palette again. I like neutral. I like me a good neutral palette. Next up, we have the Kat Von D. I'm covering my mouth again. It's a habit. Also, if you can hear things, the garbage truck is out and about doing crazy things like picking up garbage. And we've had a really stormy day today. So it's been like crazy raining off and on. So if you hear anything, it's probably one of those two things or both. Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. I don't have the face palette. I've always wanted it. I've never gotten it. Maybe in the future. This palette is like, this palette is it. You know, like I feel like browns are amazing on blue eyes. That's obviously a personal preference, but also it's a fact. So, excuse me. So this palette is right up my alley. I love this like really cool toned grayish shade to put in my crease when I am feeling a mood, if you know what I'm saying. And I love this brick red color. Oh, I live and die for this palette. This shade, I'm spitting everywhere. I'm disgusting. This shade, yes, this shade right here, this like, it's like a really light peach shade with a hint of, I would say it's not like shimmer. I can't explain it, but maybe I'll swatch it for you. This shade is gorgeous on the lid. Is this the right shade or is it this one? I'm confused. Yeah, it's that. It's the peach one. So I don't think you're going to be able to pick this up very well. It's right over here. But this shade is lovely on the lid. When you're just going for a super natural, it just like a look, you know, like a natural, beautiful brown type look. This shade gives the lid a nice sheen. That's the word. So, sorry, sniffing. Nose issues. So it's not like a shimmer shade. It's like a sheen shade. This is difficult for me to say. These words are difficult for me to say. It's like a sheen shade. Sheen shade. It's a sheen shade. It's a sheen shade. And it just gives a nice sheen to your lid. I'm ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh, that's not an eyeshadow palette. That's a face palette. Get out of here. Okay, next we have the Anasazi Beverly Hills Self-Made palette. I have had this palette for forever. Forever. I love it when they'll bend backward like this, so I don't have to be like... Forgot that brush was in there. I use the heck out of this palette. Doing it again. I used the heck out of this palette when I got it. When did I get it? I think I got it for Christmas like 1,000 years ago. I used it a ton. I haven't used this palette in forever. It's fine. It's fine. I like this hot and cold. I'll swatch this one. What is my... How is there like black stuff on me? I don't know. So I like this hot and cold shade. I used it a ton. It's like a sheeny brown shade. Of course, brown, you know, I was just talking about browns, being obsessed with browns. Anyways, I love that shade. We have another Pure Cosmetics Midnight Masquerade palette. And this has like face stuff on one side and eye stuff on the other side. I'm like dipping my fingers into the face side. I've used the face side. I have never dipped into the eye side. And this has some really nice colors. This green is actually really beautiful. The blue's pretty. Yeah, I might have to try this out soon. Haven't done that yet. Okay, we have a Butter London little palette here. A lot of these I've gotten from Boxycharm. So shout out to you, Boxycharm, for being the crap. I think I've used a couple of these shades. I haven't used a ton of them. Go this way. That's pretty. I like that shade. I like all these shades, actually. I feel like you could create a really nice look with these shades. That's a little different. Something that's not, doesn't fit into the box, you know? To the little makeup box. I like going outside of the box. Why you gotta fit in a box? Ain't nobody trying to fit in a box. Next, we have the Alamar Cosmetics Reina del Caribe palette. I hope I said that right. This palette's gorgeous. I've used this palette several times. This palette is one of those. I got this from Boxycharm, and this is definitely one of those that when I pulled it out, it was saying my name. Nicole, use me. Use and abuse me. No, just kidding. No. No. Shh. No. I'm not going to abuse you. I will use you, but I'm not going to abuse you. Somebody just stop me, you know? You know? Do you guys ever... So, I drink sometimes, right? I don't drink a ton, but I drink sometimes. I'm dirty. So when I drink sometimes, and I've had several drinks in me, and I start saying crap, and I'm thinking to myself, shut up, Nicole. Don't say that. And it's not like anything bad, right? It's just I become like this. I mean, I'm already kind of, but it gets bigger. The alcohol elaborates my big mouthness, and I become like a pushy big mouth who's just like spouting crap off all the time. Like I'm like, right? And I'm like thinking in my head, shut up. And I'm pretty sure I've even told a couple people, like my friend, my sister-in-law, I'm like, just shut me up. Just be like, Nicole, stop talking. They're too nice. They won't do it. But anyways, where was I going with that? Oh, that I need to be shut up right now? I don't know. Okay, so this palette's hard to show you because it like won't bend back. But this is the Tarte Pro palette. I got this for Christmas as well. A couple years ago, I think. I don't know. And I love this palette. I use this palette like sorry about the mirror. It's just like hard. I use this palette every single day when I first got it. A Pretty Vulgar Nightingale eyeshadow palette. Another one that I got from Boxycharm. Like 75% of these. I've never used this. I've swatched it, but I've never used it. I do like it. It's pretty. It gives me 90s vibes. Like, I feel like, especially like this blue, I don't know. This gives me 90s vibes. I don't even think I was wearing makeup in the 90s. Okay, so now we have the Urban Decay Wendy's Contraband. I bought this palette a while ago. I don't know where the brush went. I used it maybe once or twice. I think I used it for a New Year's Eve look. I think I used this blue shade for a New Year's Eve look. Let's just swatch that. Ooh, yeah. Boom. That is like, yes. And I really liked it. It was nice. It's a nice palette. And then I never reached for it again. Honestly, before I started doing YouTube, I like never did eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow and I love collecting eyeshadow palettes. I feel like it's more about the collection, honestly, than the use, which is pathetic. But I just didn't really do a ton of eyeshadow. Like, the most eyeshadow I did before I started YouTube was when I got that Tarte Pro palette, and I was like, I love it. It smells like vanilla cupcake. And I used it a ton. But after that, just didn't, you know? So now we have the Celestial Thunder by Dominique Cosmetics. I got this in a Boxycharm. Shock. Used this in a few videos prior, and I really like this palette. I think I had a couple issues with it, but off the top of my head, I don't remember what they are. So, liked it. Now we have the ColourPop Element of Surprise palette. Haven't used this one either. See what I mean? I just like don't... And then I get into this rut where I'm like, I really want to use this eyeshadow palette. I should use it on camera. I should make a video out of it. And then I'm like, but these palettes are like hella old. Nobody gives a crap anymore. Like, there's probably a million videos of people using these palettes, and then I don't do it. Just comment below and let me know if you'd actually want to see me use any of these palettes. And then I'll do it. And if you don't, I still might do it. I don't know. And then watch or don't watch. You do you, you know? Okay, now we have the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star Mini Controversy palette. I have a whole video dedicated to this palette and using every single shadow. I will link it below in the description box if you haven't checked it out. Do so. As I was saying, the color story in this palette is off in my mind, but still I found a way to make every single shadow on here work. And I think it's kind of a nice look. So I suggest watching it. I recommend watching it. So next we have the Ace Beauty Grandiose palette. I love this palette. I don't get a ton of use out of it just because the shades aren't really up my alley for like an everyday look, as you can imagine. But I really like this palette. I like Ace Beauty. I think that they're really good and they're really affordable, and I would get my hands on more of their palettes someday in the future, maybe. So this is a Boxycharm exclusive Pure Cosmetics shadow palette. And I don't know if I've ever used this. This is like the same thing with every palette. I'm like, this is blah, 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 blah. I've never used it. This is blah, blah, blah. I've never touched it. I don't know if I've used it. I've always swatched these, 100% always swatch these because I can't keep my little grubby hands off of them. When I get them in the Boxycharm box or in the mail or in the store or wherever the heck I bought them, I'm like, get these fingers in those eyeshadow pans, the swatch. Like, I just can't help myself. That was creepy. I do creepy crap a lot, and sorry about that. This is a Tarte Rainforest of the Sea little circular palette thingy. This is lovely. The packaging on this is gorgeous. I love Tarte packaging. It is so elegant, so chic looking. Look at the gold in the back. Let me blind you a little bit. But the pigment is not there, in my opinion. Two of the Maybelline Nude palettes. I have the Blush Nude and the 24K Nude. And these are what those look like. Both of them are, in theory, very lovely. But not very pigmented. So, I dropped my little spongy brush. This one is gorgeous. This one is like Nicole in a palette. And I feel like it kind of looks like the Subculture palette, which I don't own. But I still feel like it looks like that a little bit. Let me know if I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Anyways, it's very pretty. It's just not all that pigmented. This gold shade's really nice though. This one right here. So I should use that sometime because that's pretty. Of course, the emerald green is also nice. Kind of. It's like right there. It's a little patchy. It doesn't pick up as well on camera as it does in person, but oh, I need to wipe my hands down. Okay, so then we have the Dose of Colors Blushing Berries palette. I did a video on this. I think it was one of my Boxycharm unboxing videos that I showed you all this palette. I really liked a couple of the shades and didn't like any of the others. I don't remember which are which. I know that I didn't really like these two darker shades because they were pretty patchy for me, but it's an alright palette. It's definitely not like something that I would use often with the colors, even if I loved it. So then we have the CoverGirl True Naked Goldens palette. This one's kind of similar to the 24 Karat Nude palette by Maybelline, right? I mean, there's a few differences. Obviously, the 24 Karat Maybelline one has more shade selection. Yeah. I feel like that just gives me Subculture vibes. Now when I'm done with this video, I'm gonna like go Google Subculture to see if I'm right. I don't know. Anyways, this is the CoverGirl palette. I like this palette. I've used this palette several times. There are definitely some hits or misses in it, as I would expect from a CoverGirl palette, honestly. Not all the shades perform that well, but they're not like patchy bad. They're like, it's one of those things where you have to build it, which is okay for me. Like, I don't mind building a shade. If I like the shade, I'm going to take the time and build it. So I'm okay with that. Then I have one of the Maybelline City Mini palettes. This is the Rooftop Bronzes palette. I heard somebody talk about this palette, and so I bought it, and I've only used it like once, but it was lovely and I was not disappointed. This is the Comfort Zone palette, and I am obsessed with this palette. However, I dropped it like literally the day I bought it. When I got it out of the bag and to like put it away, I dropped it, and this shade broke. And I don't even know what shade that is, but it looks like it would have been pretty. But I really, really love this palette, and I've been meaning to buy another one because I can't. That bugs me. And then also the whole collection of these what are these? The Color Icon Wet n Wild palettes, because they perform so well. Wet n Wild is another one of those brands that I'm like, you can't, like, it's like $3, $3.99, and it's so good, and it performs better than a lot of these palettes that are like more expensive and more high-end. So I totally recommend. I love these little palette. I don't know if they can be called palettes, but I love them. Okay, and then last but not least, I have 3 of the Milani little, and I'm calling these little things palettes. I don't know if that's what they would be called, but I don't know. I have 3 of them. I need the whole collection, but I don't have it yet. I have the Everyday Eyes Earthy Elements 05. Love this one. Of course, I love the reddish orange color. The shimmery color is really pretty. Really like that one. It's not my favorite though, but I like it. And then I have the Everyday Eyes Bare Necessities 02 palette. I also really like this one. I like this gold in the middle. It's really pretty. And then my favorite is the Everyday Eyes Must Have Naturals. I agree that this is a must have and it is natural looking. How's that for advertisement? Milani, sponsor me. This is my favorite. This is, I think, out of all of these palettes that I've shown, this is my absolute favorite go-to. I could use this every day and never get tired of it. With that all being said, that is my collection. We have an empty box now. Look at this beautiful empty box. This box is so cute, right? It's like rustic. I was gonna plant flowers in it or like garden stuff, because look, it even says like garden on the side. So it's like I'm meant to be in the garden, like put me in the garden. And I'm like, hell no, I'm putting you in my booty room. Ooh, I almost went backward. I'm gonna put you in my beauty room and put eyeshadow palettes on you. Oh, what now? You can't tell me what to do. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. I appreciate the time that you spend watching my videos, the time you spend commenting and liking and all of that jazz, sharing, whatever you want to do. I super appreciate you. And yeah, that's that. Hope you all are getting ready for the holidays and it's not too stressful for you. Remember to take care of yourselves. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.